All right, guys, I've been like super excited to get this video to you guys. Like, it's been freaking forever since I've had this in the box. It's the RUNVSE Fuel System Saver Kit. It's for the 2020 to 2023 Duramax, but they do make this for all the L5P trucks, and hopefully I can get Tom to make a bracket to make it work with the LM2 Duramax, because it will work with that. It's just the matter of the bracket that it's bolted to. It just needs to be slightly different. But the reason I mention all of this is like, I just had a certain instance where my fuel gelled up and I needed to get like some special tools, which a 36mm socket, you know, whatever. I don't want to say special, but when you're on vacation and you didn't bring anything with you, which is kind of irresponsible, you're gonna go lay in the snow, whatever. Like, I didn't want to crack all that off. And then especially with these things stripping out, these fuel housings that you see all the time. I don't know. I hadn't changed the fuel filter before on these trucks, and I wasn't trying to do that for the first time where I would be completely stranded if it broke. Anyways, and when fuel in your system starts to gel, when it was really cold where I was at and I ran the incorrect fuel, I ran some biodiesel, and anyways, they tell you take off the filters and then like fill them up or whatever with like half diesel, half of like diesel 911 or whatever. And felt like a dog licking me, but it was a fly. Wow, it was a big fly. Anyways, and they tell you to do that, and then they tell you to put the additive inside the fuel tank, and then you know, start degelling the fuel, which I ended up, it took hours, but I ended up figuring it out, getting it to work. But the whole point is if I'd have had something simple like this, another benefit to just spin off 2 filters by hand, and I could have did everything I needed to do. I could have had replacement filters with no tools needed, and I could have got myself up and running probably a heck of a lot faster than I did. So we're gonna dive into this. There's actually engineering involved and a lot of reasons of why you would do the fuel system saver kit from VSE. And I'm gonna link down below the video to Tom, the owner of VSE, and he goes like full in depth, but I'm gonna hit on all the key points. And obviously I have a really good understanding of how it works and why you would do it. But there is other things on the market that just put like a bigger, longer filter. We're gonna explain why you don't do that. And then also, there's other things, you know, rather than just changing the filter and the filter housing with a big filter, why you would not want to do it. We step into like a FAS. I don't know if AirDog offers anything on the L5P, but I'll explain to you why you don't want to do a FAS either, that is not an upgrade as well. This is the best. If you wanted to do a lift pump or something on these trucks, up to 850 rear wheel horsepower, like possibly more, this is the way you want to do it. And I'm going to show you why right now. Hopefully you guys can see this nice. The lighting's not the greatest. This is where you would normally let water come out of your fuel if you had water and fuel light come on. Water settles to the bottom of filters usually. So yeah, we didn't really have anything. So even though we loosened that up, it here we go. It wasn't gonna leak any fuel because I think because of the suction. So yeah, this thing sucks. You would not want to do this with vice grips at all. You definitely want to buy the right tools for this one. This isn't a hard job, but it is definitely a dirty job. Cool. That's awesome. This truck has about 3,000 miles on it. Filter's not very clean. I mean, it's not the dirtiest I've seen. But definitely not the cleanest I've seen either. So we're gonna go ahead and get this guy out and well, let it soak over here. So we went in there and we took out those, let's see, what size was that? 13mm. Took out the 13s, they went through the frame, dropped the bracket off. So that's complete, that's done. And then we took the 2 bolts that, just to get it out easier, we just took these 2 bolts off the fuel filter housing that was mounted to that bracket. I think these were 13s as well. And then now we're taking these, we're using a T30 Torx. And anyways, we're taking this out of the head, and then we're gonna put that on the top of the VSE unit. And then we're gonna use the supplied hardware and go bolt that back in. So that should be super self-explanatory. It's very easy to get to the bolts. Just drop them in and drop the new ones in. Okay, so what we did here is you'll see on my finger, got a black O-ring and another black O-ring right here that came with the kit. They did have these blue ones that were in there. So we're replacing those, and we're gonna leave this blue one at the bottom the way it is. And then we're just gonna drop this guy in. It did come with new hardware. I'm not sure if that's the same bolt size at the top, but it, you know, doesn't matter. We're gonna get the correct size on there. What are these? These are oh, these are Allen heads, and we're gonna torque those things down to spec, and we're going ahead and drop this in, get this whole thing all set up so we can get the unit bolted up into the truck. So you guys got to pretty much see this. The inside of this is the top side of the filter. The inside, bottom part of this canister you guys saw earlier in the video, and I showed you that cartridge filter. Right out of the gate, I want you to understand that we have 1 filter here, we have 2 here, right? And while I'm going to tell you the differences between those two, you know, I pretty much wrote down that, like, depending where you buy these online, the OEM one from the dealer is like $75, but you can find it online for as cheap as like 38 bucks. The 2 of these, the pair that you're gonna get, which is pan over here, are gonna be these big giant Donaldson filters. These are the same ones that you kind of see on like a fast system, I believe, at least the same style or same thread pitch, whatever. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but they're big. They're much bigger than the Caterpillar filters like I was running on the AirDog. So I really like those. Those are bigger filters, but anyways, the pair of those 2, if you go buy them from, you know, RUNVSE.com, they're about $39.96. So depending on shipping, tax, whatever, I mean, they're within $1. So that's one thing I wanted to mention to you guys. There is no issues with gelling on this unit. You know, that's something that's good to notice. Also, I kind of wrote down like some pointers for you guys, some like different, you know, some different things that you kind of want to, like, you know, look out for. The biggest thing right here, this conductivity probe right here, this will actually do, this is going to measure for your, if water's in the fuel, right? Because water's conductive, at least more than fuel. So having this the correct length is important. So when they machine this block, the filter, they had the filter in mind of what they're going to put on it. So now that the filter's on there, all right, so we're going to put this filter up against it. Once the filter's on there, then you can actually, sorry, that's the wrong filter. That one goes on this side. Oh my God, I knew it didn't look right. Now you can see how much water is actually going to be at the bottom of this water separator. And then obviously then we're going to get it, you know, to the post filter afterwards. But this is a 13 micron fuel filter water separator. But it's all the way to the bottom. And you're going to see filters way bigger than this one. That size or bigger on some of these aftermarket units. And then it's going to allow for like 3, 4, 5 inches of water to sit at the bottom of fuel before it's even going to set that off. So the reason I say that is it's a downgrade, right? It really is. So let's get these filters back in the box. It's one of the last things I'm going to do is put these things on, right? Another thing, right? You'll notice that it looks very similar in a setup, you know, mentally for you guys. As a, like, let's just name for the L5P, let's do a fast system. Well, the fast has a motor on it, but actually the truck already has a variable pump that's on the unit, so you don't need this. And that pump that's on there, it's, you know, it's variable, but they actually call it pressure dependent, and it continuously pushes fuel, you know, as the truck needs it, versus, I guess, continuously pushing fuel no matter what. Like when you see some of these fast 165s, 220s, 100s, whatever, like they're constantly pushing the same amount of fuel no matter how much the truck needs. This is going to press or push as much fuel as the truck needs, right? No matter what. So it knows, it talks with the ECM and says like, hey, we need, you know, X amount of fuel So I guess really where that comes into is why you don't want to like get rid of some of the P codes and all that stuff that you would get and like completely disable your own system is, for one, the conductivity probe, the water and fuel, that's not going to work correctly because you're going to have a fast system. So that's pretty much gone. So now you're just relying on the fact that like if you got a bad tank of fuel, like you don't know, you just got to go through there. I'm pretty sure AirDog even said it, like every tank of fuel, you're supposed to check that thing and see if there's water in it. I'm pretty sure it's every single tank when I read it. One of them, it is that, and it's a trip. So you don't have to do that on this system. Every 15,000 miles, replace the filters, unless this guy goes off. You know, it's going to get, I'm trying to remember the voltage, I think it's like 3.2 volts. And once it measures 3.2 volts, it's going to say, hey, hold on, like, you know, the conductivity is that high. That means there's water in the fuel. You're going to get a check engine light. You're going to know, hey, something's going on. And then you can replace the filters or assess the situation, see how much water's in it, whatever. But now you have a check engine light for that. So that's one reason. Do not do a fast. 2, like I said, you already have to tune it out. 3, that pump continuously pushes fuel, so you can't slow it down. I guess that's why I don't want to jump all over the place. But if you slow it down, open up the channels like this thing does, as it's port matched for the fuel coming in, that means in like cold situations, you're effectively able to heat the fuel more because it's moving slower through those channels, and you're only using as much as you need. So it's more effective in that sense too, that now you can heat up the fuel, which for me, I think if, I don't remember if I put that at the beginning of this video or not, but like my head's been all over the place today, but it, I had an issue where I put biodiesel in the truck and then it gelled up and it was a complete nightmare, right? Run diesel number 2, run an additive in cold weather situations or whatever, because a lot of you guys, like, that's your everyday and you deal with it. But I'm in California, it's like 75, 80 right now. It's never to the point where it's freezing here, and that's why getting the fuel here down the street is not a big deal. But when you fill it up in a Titan tank, run it up in the mountains where, you know, you can't probably buy this stuff, well, you're gonna learn a lesson, right? So I was like, whatever, it's fine. I've always run like an AirDog, whatever. I've been up there a million times in my old truck, no big deal. But it goes back to also what I said. I didn't have to get a 36 millimeter or bring the torque set down there to drain some of the water in the fuel, do whatever. Like, I didn't need to mess with this. It's not like it's complicated, but it's slightly more complicated when these are spin-on style filters. They're cheap. As you see, they're already wrapped up. Just like this, I don't have to worry about debris getting in them. So I can go get an extra 1 or 2 sets, go throw them underneath the back of my seat in the truck, and I'm fine, right? And then I can run some diesel 911 stuff, which is, this is what I put in here to keep it from, you know, gelling up. And then there's also a big red bottle. It's kind of like your emergency kit, like, I need to ungel what's already, you know, it's kind of like as a preventative maintenance. And that one's like, like, I don't want to use the words for it, but hey, it gelled up. So anyways, I want to get to you guys on that. You know, 30-minute install. I mean, right now it's taking a little bit more time because my Titan tank is just ever so slightly like in the way. So I actually use the back side of a pry bar because I don't want to puncture the tank. And I mean, I literally just needed to move it. I mean, I could have muscled through like the bracket coming off, but it was just like just slightly in the way. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I could have cut the bolt off, but if I had to put a percentage to it, it was like 90, 92%, 95% of the bolt was out. It was just enough where it didn't want to come out all the way. So just pried a little bit, you know, just a little, enough where the whole tank didn't cave in or nothing, just the whole entire tank flexed a little bit. And well, this whole thing, I've already matched up the holes and everything. Like, it's a snug fit, but it will work, it will fit in the truck with the Titan tank, right? And that brings me to my next thing, that on VSE's website, like, they have not tested this with every tank on every truck. And the reason I mention that is like some of the long beds, I think I wrote it down also too. I believe even the 2020 and newer long beds, they have this Titan tanks. They have this hole that goes up in the middle where the filter's at. So you actually put your hand essentially through the tank, if you will, to then take the filter off. And it's made for the OEM style filter. It's not made for a double head filter setup. So because Titan did that, you can't run the tanks. And I believe it's on all years on the long bed. I know for sure it's 17 to 19 because I've put them on myself, but I think it's on all the years they did that. Maybe not, maybe just 17 to 19. you kind of want to do your research and just ask the questions. You can ask me, and I can look at specifically what your situation is. But if you're going to do a crew cab, standard bed, and you're going to do it on any of the 2020 and newer trucks, it looks like right now the Titan tank and the S&B tank, crew cab, standard bed, no problem, right? This is going to work on that. And it's not to say that as this grows in popularity that they don't make some sort of different bracket to make that work, but currently that is what we got going on, right? So I kind of wrote everything down because I'm always scatterbrained for you guys, but I think I pretty much hit on everything. This housing right here is the same thing that's on the LM2 Duramax that I just took off. This is the same thing that's on the 1.8 Chevy Cruze. So on a 1.8 liter, 3 liter, same thing on a 6.6 liter Duramax. Now when we put the filters on, our first filter, our water separator again is going to be a 13 micron, and then we're going to go down to 3 microns, and that's the filter rating. The lower the number, the more obviously it's filtered. This comes with a 5 micron rating. And again, we're not downgrading on anything. We're taking no sacrifices. So we're not doing an air dog or fast, right? We're not doing either one of those pumps because we don't want all the negative things I just told you about. Those are great pumps, but on the L5P, you don't need it. And I don't know anybody making over 850 horsepower. If that's the case, then obviously you're going to be running like a fast or something like that, right? Totally fine, whatever. These are, you know, they call them, I guess, you know, pressure dependent. So whatever it needs, it's going to push. So that's for one. So we're kind of eliminating that those two are not the best setup for the truck, for filtration, for, I mean, anything, right? So we got to take that out of our head that the 2001 to 2016 Duramax trucks, all of us that have had one of those years of trucks, we knew, okay, hold on, I just picked it up. I need an air dog. I need a fast because I'm adding power. I don't want to drain the fuel rails. That mentality's still there. So when we're picking up a new 2020 or 2017, whatever, we're picking up a brand new L5P, that same mentality is still there, right? And you jump to the other side of things. God, I think there's like Fleece and whatever, there's another one of the other aftermarket companies. Again, they do not get in depth in why they sell those setups, but they essentially, you know, get an housing like this and they're like, how can we make it cool? So they mill out something nice price point, and then they let you go put a big Caterpillar filter on. Cat is cool. Everyone's like, hey, it has a Caterpillar name on it. Must filter great. Fine. Donaldson or, you know, whatever, some of the red filters from Baldwin. I mean, there's so many different options, and you putting those filters on, and they're a big giant filter, you just immediately think, okay, better. And while some of those could be better than stock, when you get in a situation where water is getting into there and you can't measure that correctly, that's not better. A big giant filter like that that's sitting there with that much fuel at the bottom is more prone to gelling, and you can't heat it up as well. And I don't know like how those things are milled out, but they're definitely not like where they're tested and engineered, at least to this extent. Because if they were, and you were going through all that testing, at least if it was me, I would put that information out there like nobody's business and say, this is why you should get it, this is why it's better, right? There's so many things for these trucks, and you hop on the forums, you don't know what's true, you don't know what's not true, and you just want to see it tested. So that's why we're here right now. We're rambling on about this because the RUNVSE, this fuel saver setup, is essentially the only upgrade I would put on these trucks. And after you've gotten pissed off and you've didn't put the 36 millimeter on here and you strip that out and you're tired of paying whatever money you're paying for the filters, depending where you're buying it. If you're not buying it online, it could be a lot of money. You could be throwing $75 away every 15,000 miles like I was. Or I don't want to say like I was, but like I could, because I thought, go to the dealer, right? And I was already there, let's just be clear, because I was picking up oil for the LM2, and I really wanted to run their Dexos, whatever. Like the stuff that they say to run, I wanted to run. And there's not a ton of options. I think there's very few now. There used to be not very many at all. 0W20 options for diesel fuel, or diesel oil. But anyways, that's why I went to that. So I wanted to just share this all with you guys. I think I've hit on every single point that I wanted to. I'm gonna get this thing bolted up in there now and call it good. But yeah, there's a ton of reasons on why you would go with this setup versus anything else in the market. And it's something that, I mean, I highly recommend. I'm super stoked. I mean, everything I've seen about this, everything I've heard about it, it's just made me very excited to have it. And here we are. We're gonna make this thing fit in the truck, and we're gonna confirm one big thing. If you have a Titan tank or want to do one in the future, this guy's gonna work. I'm gonna put it in, and we're all set. We're gonna be super, super happy with this setup right here. This is it bolted up. So the cool thing is they come already, like, at least mine came assembled already, and then these bolts come like kind of loose in there. And just so you know, if you can't see, you start to thread them on, and then there's a bigger hole next to a smaller hole, and you just drop them through the big one, slide them on over, tighten them up. And the reason they do that is obviously, well, my 13mm socket is inside the frame rail as we speak. I will get that later. And when you're tightening and you have these guys in the way, kind of just snagged it and grabbed it, and worst case scenario happened. So it's okay, we'll use a magnet, we'll get it out. And if you can't already see from the camera, here's my Titan tank. No issues with the new one with clearance. Slightly had to push against this just to get the old bolt out, because those are fixed bolts that are in the OEM bracket. Not a big deal. Really could have just loosened up some of the brackets here. I mean, it had a lot of options, but it's just so minimal. The very end of the screw just couldn't come out. I could have like really fought it, but I really didn't want to. So that's all there. This thing's nice and snug. It's in here, everything's clipped up, everything's plugged in. We're all set, guys. Let's go try it out. All right, so just want to show you guys, got a lot of light on here, but I got the finished product, so we're all good here. Filters fit, again, everything we kind of just covered, but I just want to show you guys how much space we had. We could put our hands all the way around the filters, all the way around that filter. So we're great, we're doing real good. Wiped all this down. This is the Titan 56-gallon tank for the crew cab standard bed 25-3500, 2020 and newer, so 2020 through 2023 so far. And yeah, just want to show you guys. So we're gonna get it started up. I'm gonna let it prime, key on, engine off, foot off the brake to do that, and let it prime. Fuel pump's gonna be a little loud. Hopefully you can cavitate some of this air out, and we can get it started. So that's pretty much it, guys. Truck's on. I hear it's still got a little bit of air in there, but it's gonna work its way out. Not too worried about it. Hope you guys liked it. Guys, seriously, subscribe if you like these videos. I'll keep doing more. Also, comment down below what you want to see next. Obviously I have some things in mind of what I want to share with you guys, but trying to decide, hey, what do I do? Do I do more fun stuff with the truck? Do I give you guys more informative videos on, you know, what you can do to these trucks? You know, let me know. I mean, I'm totally an open book. I'm open to anything. So please subscribe, comment, like the video if you liked it. If, I mean, you know, you found it informative, at least you can do is like it. If you do like the Fuel Saver system, the link is down below, and you can buy it from us. It's the same exact price as you buy it from RUNVSE, but you also get an extra line of support for free. So you can always reach out to me. You can always reach out to them. It's kind of a win-win for everybody, right? So check out ScovilleMotorsports.com. Go ahead and subscribe to this video. If you want to see some more photos and stuff, some more content of the truck, I'm always trying to put that on Instagram. You can kind of see what I'm up to on the daily on there at American Duramax on Instagram. Anyways, that's it for right now, guys. I'll catch you guys later.